to this sacred space. My name is Kalu and I'm also known as the Scribe Priestess. And on this channel, I make videos about spiritual practices, spiritual development, and our spiritual journey here on earth. And in today's video, I am going to talk about the spiritual practice of writing. I am so excited to make this video because writing is one of my main focuses on my job. It's what I do and I work with my clients. And to be honest, is my passion. I love writing. I absolutely resonate with this practice, so I am so excited to be able to introduce you to this spiritual practice. So grab yourself something to drink and let's get started with today's video. As always, you guys, there is going to be an extended version on my webpage of this video, and on that extended version I am going to talk about what automatic writing is. That's a form of channeling that we have in the spiritual practice. So if you are curious enough to know about automatic writing, you can go and check down the link below on the description to go to my webpage and to get access to this extended version library that we have on our member site. So without further ado, let's go back with our video. The practice of writing. That it sounds maybe a little bit like why is writing spiritual, or what has writing to do with spirituality? But it has everything to do with spirituality, and it is actually a very profound practice that you can do, not only to get more in contact with your spiritual side, but actually writing is a powerful tool to get in contact with your subconscious mind and your inner world. Writing is that process that enables a higher consciousness of our feelings, of our emotions, about who we actually truly are. So it's a process of discovery, but it's actually a process of manifestation, a process of creation. So I want to talk on this video a little bit about my journey on this spiritual practice, so you can take a look on how can writing actually influence so much a person in their lifestyle or life herself. And then I will start to just jump and say everything that I know about writing in the course of this explanation as how I came to do this spiritual practice. I actually started to write very early. As I was a little kid, I was writing, I believe, at the age of 6, 7, so in this period of time. And I remember so specific when I was able to write. It was to me as if I had unlocked like a new level on the game. I remember that I was so proud of myself that I was able to express what I was doing, and in the moment that I remember that I did a little note about something, and I went to my dad at that moment. I went to him and I just said to him like, hey, look what I wrote. And the fact that he could actually read what I had wrote and to understand it and to tell me exactly what I had written, it was for me this absolutely marvelous moment where I was able to actually express in a fluent way what I was wanting to share with another person. And I believe that had to do because as kids, we are still learning how to express ourselves, how to discover all of these emotions. And sometimes we don't even know, okay, I'm feeling this too much, but we don't have a word for it. Or maybe we do have a word, but we don't know how to express it, or how to write it, or how to communicate it. So I remember so specifically the moment I was able to write something and make somebody read it and understand it. And that's the part of writing, you guys, is that writing connects us to other people. And you know, there is this concept in spirituality that writing is the ineffective way, is a very ineffective way to communicating, because words tend to categorize and tend to condense some energies that are way more expansive and way bigger and powerful than just one word. Although I understand where this is coming from, and there are some situations that are very hard to describe in just plain words, I do believe that words are here in order to connect us to one another and to form a pathway of attuning ourselves to one another and actually uniting us, because we can create so much with words. Words carry power. They are very powerful. That's why in rituals, in sacred chants, maybe they are not having sentences over sentences, but just words, sometimes just syllables or very small words that are expanding the energy of creation. But at the core part is words carry magic inside of them. They carry energy. The more we are able to familiarize us with words, with consciousness, the more we are able to create the desired outcome that we are trying to manifest in reality. So, for example, it's not the same thing if I am trying to manifest something into reality, but I don't have the words to make it real, as when I actually have exactly, in a very specific, well put in words, my manifestation strategy. So that's why, although I believe that there are moments where words tend to be too small for so big concept or emotions or energies, I do believe that is by far the best communication tool that we have at the moment. And I do believe that a lot of miscommunication or misunderstandings are due because we are not taught in our schools how to properly communicate with others. And this is something that I have found to be true in a lot of lands all over the world. It's just not a problem from Europe or America, or no, it's a global thing where actually we're not putting so much attention in how the education that we're giving our children is being put in schools, and what we're actually teaching our kids, teaching the kids, the next generations, to be able to communicate themselves properly. I am saying this because a lot of times, and that was the case in my school when I went to school, although I have to say that I am very grateful for my parents, because I was able to attend a French school and I was able to grow in an environment that was very open to critical thinking. They were always encouraging us to be very critical, to ask questions, to never take anything for granted, and especially to be questioning our teachers or the things that we were given. And you don't have that in a lot of school systems. Our school systems tend to be very conservative, and some of them tend to be very archaic that haven't changed in a long time. And I do believe that we are currently going into a special moment of reinvention of education, because the things the kids are learning in school are lacking this humanity inside of them. For example, learning how to communicate without violence, learning the I communication instead of you communication. This, I am feeling this in this way, and that's why I am seeing this situation like this and this. We don't learn those things at school. It's not part of the curriculum we have to fulfill inside of that. We don't learn communication skills, communication techniques. We maybe learn them if you go to university and you get into a career like marketing or human resources, pedagogy like I did, or psychology too. But you're not going to learn that if you go and be a technician. And I believe that to be very wrong and a mistake in the system, because we as humans, it's imperative that we learn how to communicate our feelings. We are living in an era where our feelings have been for so long minimized and most of the time also put aside, or we have learned to, when we are feeling sad or when we are feeling angry, not to get in contact with that emotion and just try to be happy and try to as quick as possible go away from that bad emotion, which is, like I have said already, there are no bad or good emotions. Emotions are. And it's not that they're bad or wrong or good, or it's not that. Emotions are here to tell us a story, to communicate with our inner world, with our body, with our feelings, and to actually be able to develop ourselves and mature as human beings. If we are not able to connect to our emotions, if we are not able to connect with anger in a healthy way and to actually take something productive out of that, we are caging ourselves. We are our own creators of the diseases and our sicknesses that we have in this new era, where a lot of the diseases that are tackling this our generation is because of unspoken things. There are two beautiful books that I can actually be recommending you if you want to know more about the emotional world and how emotions play a very big role in our lives. The first one is Emotions Revealed by Paul Ekman. This one is really a must, and it has to do with our of how emotions are expressed also in our body and how our body expresses emotions. And the second one is When the Body Says No from Gabor Mate. And this is how these unexpressed emotions and a lot of things that have been repressed in our feelings, in our emotional world, are leading us to get sick, to have all these diseases such as cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer, all of those things. So I absolutely recommend those two books if you want to get into this emotional world. And it's very interesting that I am making such a huge part of this video about emotions, because I believe that writing is that very special spiritual practice that can get us very in contact with our emotional world. A lot of the times where I have been in very critical situations in my life that have been very challenging to get into contact with myself, or maybe I have been confronted with very hard, stressful and hurtful situations, writing has been that therapy, that best friend that I have had to connect with myself, to actually let everything go there, everything that, to just express everything that needs to be expressed and to let it all out, to get out of my system, of my body. So it has been this catharsis moment of letting this hurt, this really intense, painful emotions have place. And that is the thing. One of the important things that we need to learn like human beings is to be able to regulate ourselves, to be able to create a path to emotional intelligence, to be able to connect to all of these other emotions that are a little bit unpleasant, a little bit uncomfortable, but to give them space, and at the same time regulate ourselves in a way that we are not overpowering other people with our things, with our own processes and our own journeys. Because that's the thing, that there are a lot of problems, for example, in partnerships, where because there are a lot of things that get unspoken, or that there are things that are communicated without being productive. It's not a constructive communication, but a destructive one, because we haven't learned as human beings in the school how to communicate in an effective way. We start learning that maybe when we are 20, 30 years old, if you are interested about it. When you are bumping yourself up with NLP, for example, or you are like expressing yourself after a lot of things you have gone already with the writing process or the communication process. That's another thing that I criticize about the education system, is that we create this unhealthy relationship with writing because it's all the time very stressful with the that you have to put everything correctly, that you don't have to have any misspells, any vocabulary, all of those things. You connect writing with exams, with, again, these school years, where school years can be very challenging for a lot of us. For me, it was more about the contact that I was having with other human beings at school, not too much about what we were learning. I had not a lot of problems with learning, but it was more challenging with human contact and actually being able to do this expressiveness that I have always been a very cheerful and a very expressive kid, but I absolutely felt that this system was trying to cage me. Like, for example, if you get the metaphor of the phoenix, the phoenix is this beautiful bird who has fire on his wings and who is beautiful, can heal, can bring healing to a lot of us, and just wants to fly away in this beautiful energetical flame. And I felt like they were trying to put this phoenix in a cage and just make this phoenix be water instead of fire, to calm itself, to just be like, listen to these rules and do this and that. So, I mean, like, I don't want to say that I was a troublemaker, because I wasn't, but I do feel that I was very critical as I was growing up, and I was very critical of my elders too. And that got me sometimes in troubles. And that's when writing came into hand, because I was able to, through the writing processes in my life, to channel all that anger and all that oppression that I was feeling, a lot of pain that I was also feeling, into the written word, to make it have sense, to actually tell this, to not keep it inside of me, but to actually develop it into something that I could understand. So growing up, I had thousands of journals. That was like my way to go. I've been writing journals since I was very young, like probably 8 years old. Journaling has been my way to go. And that's the thing, that when you take writing as a spiritual practice, it is a way of connecting with your inner world, with your innermost, deepest emotions, or even memories. A lot of times when you are really confused about what you're feeling, writing can help you understand, give sense, make sense of all this energy that is being accumulated there. That's why, for example, a lot of chants or a lot of beautiful songs, when you can connect also not only to the powerful energy that sound has, because sound already has, it's powerful, but if you connect sound with a melody that is attached to a word, that is like energetical, beautiful sphere of love energy. Think about it a little bit on when you are feeling a specific way, and I have said this before. If you listen to certain music, you can either make yourself feel more happier than you already are, or you can make you feel yourself even sadder, or just go deeper in this sad, painful emotions. And a lot of the times you connect with the words that the songs are saying, because, as I said, words carry power. Words carry power. And on mysticism, words play a very significant role. There are a lot of names that carry meaning, that when you say a specific word, for example, amen, when you say there is a specific energetical charge that these words have, because the words herself carry power, carry energy. To me, writing is this process of bringing consciousness to what is it that you are creating in this world. That is why I believe that writing is one of the most important spiritual practices, and one that I work with and that I love working with, because I can see that a lot of times this spiritual practice can give meaning, a way, a pathway to the people that I am guiding into this journey. So writing has been this moment of aha, these beautiful aha moments where you go, wow, that's what I was thinking, that's what I was feeling. That word was exactly. Have you ever felt that feeling when you have been trying very hard to communicate something and suddenly you have the word, and it feels so good to be able to say, that was the word. That was the word that I was trying to express, that I was trying to communicate to you. So a big role of writing, as I said, is to bring consciousness, is to bring awakening to the practice of creating, of being manifestators on this earth. If you incorporate the writing practice in your life, you are going to start seeing a change in your patterns and habits. That's why, for example, they have this gratitude journaling has been such a boom in the last years. I don't know, maybe 10 years. Because gratitude is already a beautiful spiritual practice to cultivate in your day-to-day life. When you take those feelings of gratitude and you write them, you're taking them to the next level. Because you're not just thinking about them, you're not just saying, thank you, universe, for everything that you have given me today. You are putting it in paper. You are writing it and transforming, creating something by writing. That is how powerful the written word is. It can be passed also on to other generations. So the scriptures, the sacred holy scriptures that we have, not only from religions but from mysticism, that is wisdom that has been taken from years of other civilizations, of our ancestors' ways of going around in this journey that is life. So there is a huge wisdom inside of the scriptures that we can find. That is another beautiful thing, that through the ages and centuries, the writing practices have also changed. For example, there were a lot of writing practices in mysticism that were very complex, and all of this wisdom of the mystics was a little bit being kept secretive, and they did that also by writing. So for example, they would change some words, or they would put something or a meaning that was supposed to go here, there, and they were putting planets over here that had nothing to do with, because they were trying to keep a lot of things secret. So if you go to scriptures, to very old scriptures, some of them are very hard to read. You need a lot of focus and a lot of meditative states in order for you to go deeper into the wisdom that the scriptures are trying to give to you. But it's not only because they were trying to confuse you a little bit, because they were also trying to keep the wisdom secret. That is also a type of writing that was done at a moment in time. I can compare it now with the way that we write. We use emojis, for example. We have this new way of communicating what we want with emojis that are no longer words itself, but symbols that we are using. But at the same time, it's the same thing as the alphabet, is the same thing as a letter. That is a symbol. Letters are symbols. Letters carry a specific energy to them. Every single letter has an energy and a meaning. That's why, for example, in the Hebrew alphabet, every single one of those letters carries a huge energy on them. I love Hebrew. When I listen to Hebrew, it's just it's amazing. Writing is a spiritual practice that we can use to connect us to our innermost, deepest desires, illusions, also to our pains, to our sadness, the very dark moments of our souls. I remember I was going through a very dark period as a teenager. And the only thing that I had by my side was writing. And I had a very tough moment with my parents when I was journaling all of this anger and this sadness that I had in. And I remember that writing was my therapy. I was not going to therapy at the moment, and I was needing somebody to talk to. My friends were not in the same page as I was. I didn't have a very strong connection with my friends as a teenager. Writing was for me the way I connected to God, actually. And until this day, my writing practices are a connection to the divine. So a lot of the times when I write, I feel that I am communicating with my guardian angel, sometimes with God, Goddess, the universe. Sometimes I'm communicating with myself, but I do this practice as a way to connect to higher energies in order to guide me through moments of life that can be a little bit challenging, but also through the days to days. Writing has this capacity of making you more mindful, to making you go in this mindful way through life. It also has the capacity to collect these beautiful memories of beautiful moments that you have had. It is amazing. Sometimes I go through my journals and I go to a specific date or a specific moment that I know something beautiful happened, and to connect again to the feelings that I was having, to how important that moment was for me. It's absolutely beautiful. It also helps us to keep our senses flowing and our capacity to think, to remember, our memory also. So writing is a beautiful practice that I absolutely recommend. There are a bunch of ways that you can get in contact with this practice as a spiritual practice. And if you ever want to get more information about this, you can check my offerings. I do writing workshops, and I am going to do some of them this summertime, and I'm going to let you know when these writing workshops are going to be available. But I focus myself a lot on writing because I believe that writing is a door that allows us to not only connect with our intuition, with our inner self, but also to connect to higher energies, to higher beings, to our guardian angel, our higher self, to the universe, God, Goddess. So yes, you guys, I'm going to leave this video here because I could be here hours and hours talking about writing, but I am sure that I'm going to be talking more about this subject. If you already have some writing practices, keep them going. Connect yourself more and more to your inner world. We need that. We need restructuration on how we see writing, of how we get in contact with our inner world, with our emotions. We need room for our emotional world, and we need room to be able to develop ourselves, to regulate ourselves, and writing is that room. It's one of the rooms that we can have to express ourselves in a safe way. Not everything that we are thinking and feeling has to be expressed to other people and to like out loud and everything. And that allows the writing process to, even though we are not communicating that out loud and to other people, we are giving it room and space to be communicating, to be expressed. And then you have totally power of either you want to give that communication to other people, or if you want to just destroy what you wrote or keep it to yourself. It's always that. That's another thing that I absolutely love about writing, is that you are the one who is making the decision of what you wrote is going to go further down the road and go to another person, or if you are going to just keep it to yourself or even destroy it. You are the one who is going to decide that. And that, I believe, it's one of the biggest advantages of this spiritual practice. One thing that I wanted to tell you guys before I go is that I am going to launch an automatic writing course on late September, October of this year. But I am absolutely excited to be able to launch this course where we are going to learn how to do the practice of automatic writing. So if you are interested and you're not subscribed to my newsletter, I am going to leave the link down below to go to my webpage and to subscribe, so you can be one of the first person to know when I'm going to be launching this course. And if you're part of our community, you are going to get a very beautiful discount on the price of this course. I hope that you like this video. I hope that I was able to I could really keep on going, you guys, but I am going to leave it here. I hope that you were able to understand a little bit more about the spiritual practice of writing. If you have any questions, any doubts, contact me. I am more than happy to be able to answer any questions that you have. And yes, you guys, so thank you for being here. Thank you for having watched this video. And wherever you are, I am sending you a lot of light and a lot of love. We will see each other on next video. Bye!